Hi friends, really excited to share this video with you today. It's been a long time in the making. Where we stand right now, where I'm standing, is the site of what is being proposed as a building project for Community Evangelical Church. This building, this property became the home of Community Evangelical Church in the year 2000. A couple years after that, in 2003 and 2004, we went through a strategic planning process. As part of that, there were recommendations made as to the renovation of the interior of the building and some exterior building that should be done as well. In 2005, we had a capital campaign in which we raised roughly $750,000 that was used to remodel the main entrance and lobby and the entire interior of Community Evangelical Church. Around 2010, we began the process of working with some architects and some engineers to look at what the next step in that process would be. We had a number of hiccups, a number of roadblocks, a number of difficulties, which have brought us to this year. Because of some time we've spent with Arthur Funk and Sons Builders, we have developed a plan. We brought that to the congregation in February of 2016, and at that congregational meeting, the proposal was made and approved by the congregation that the building and finance committees of Community Evangelical Church would undergo the task of gathering information about what the buildings would look like, the design, how much the project would cost, and how we would pay for the construction of such building. The building and finance committees have been meeting. They've been working with Arthur Funk and Sons, with some architects, with some engineers as well, and we are prepared to bring to the congregation the proposal for a new building which would sit in this location. So let me explain what the building committee has come up with, then what the finance committee has come up with, a little bit of detail about what a timeline might look like, and then give you information about what that will look like for the vote that will be taken on October 2nd in 2 weeks. So let's look at the building plan first. So I want to talk first about the building committee. The building committee started their process by looking at the needs analysis that was done by the ministry council and the divisions of Community Evangelical Church. So we went to a number of different groups, a number of different ministries, and said what needs are still needing to be addressed with our current facilities. One of the major needs that we want to address is youth ministry space. Currently, our youth ministry uses 2 rooms that are connected at the end of the hall across from the nursery, right in that area there. Those rooms, while providing sufficient space right now, are very tight. We pack that room every Sunday morning with young people, and in that time, it tends to get sweaty and smelly and gross. It's also divided, when we divide our junior and senior high groups, by a partition that does not allow easy access for one of the groups to exit that room. So we want to provide a new space for our young people so that youth ministry can increase its effectiveness and increase its attraction to young people. Another area that we really want to address is our children's ministries areas. Our Awana groups are using every room in the building on Wednesday nights. We want to provide some additional rooms for them, some additional large group space for them, along with our Kids Place Children's Ministries that meet on Sunday mornings. The new proposed addition would also provide a new space for the nursery that would be closer to the sanctuary and have better flow for parents dropping off their children. The new addition that would come off of the front of the building would also provide a large group space for fellowship dinners, for our fresh expressions to meet and do some things that they want to do together. It would also provide space for adults. We often, over the last few years, have had a number of adult classes that have desired to start up, but we've not been able to provide rooms because we have adult classes and children's classes in every room in the building on a Sunday morning. So this would provide some additional adult classrooms. And the final thing that we are desperately in need of for the church is storage space. If you go throughout the building, every storage closet we have has been consolidated, has been cleaned up, and still is overflowing. So the new construction would provide new space for storing tables, chairs, and all of the other things necessary to do ministry. The new addition would come out the front of this building here. It would cover basically where you see the macadam here. It would go to the edge of the hill. It would be 2 stories, providing 4 classrooms downstairs, some new restrooms downstairs, and a large group meeting space upstairs, along with a new kitchen upstairs. On October 2nd, at the congregational meeting, we will give you, we'll have from our architect some very precise drawings, some drawings that will give you a real picture of both exterior elevations and interior elevations, so you can really visualize what those rooms will look like. But let's talk a little bit more about financing. How are we going to pay for this project? So we've talked about the history of this project, how we got to this point. We've talked a little bit about the scope of the project that's being proposed, what the building will look like, what needs it will meet. Wanted to give you a brief picture of the financial end of this project. The Finance Committee has been working with the estimates given to us by the builder. The current estimate is roughly $1.7 million to complete this project. We currently have $450,000 of seed money to get us started on the project. On October 2nd, we will lay out for you the exact financial plan, the fundraising plan. But just a little bit of detail. In that plan, we will ask that we enter into a 3-year capital campaign. As part of that campaign, we will take the months of October and November to educate you on what giving will look like, on what the project will look like. We will take a number of opportunities as a church for prayer, for fasting, for seeking God's will. We will give you some encouragement and some help in how you as a family can pray and ask God what your commitment to this process will be. And then on November 27th, if an affirmative vote is taken on October 2nd, we will have a commitment Sunday. The vote on October 2nd will simply be a vote to enter into a financial campaign. When we get to November 27th, we will evaluate how much money is committed to this process. At that point, if the finances are raised, we will move forward into final development of plans and processes and things necessary to begin construction. That process will take from December till February. At our annual congregation in February, we will have one last opportunity to take a final vote of approval. So on October 2nd, we will come to you with 2 votes. The first vote is whether to proceed or not. If we vote to proceed on October 2nd, that vote will be to proceed with a capital campaign that will run October and November. Again, it will not be a final vote to complete this project. That vote will be taken multiple times, November 27th and at our annual congregational meeting in February. If approved, then we will move to a second vote, which will ask for feedback from the congregation as far as financing. The question that is always raised in a project like this is, are we willing to get a loan? So in that vote, we will ask you, A, are you in favor of the church financing any part of this project? B, are you in favor of the church financing part of this project that only uses a friendly lender, such as our denomination, where all interest goes to other EC churches, helping them with their mission and vision? Or C, are you in favor of going and working with a regular secular financial institution? We want that feedback so that we can accordingly plan as we move forward. All of that will be fleshed out further on October 2nd. Wanted to just give you a brief picture. Wanted you to begin to pray about this process. Wanted to encourage you to spend hours in prayer and fasting over the next 2 weeks. And then as we gather together as a family on October 2nd at 11 a.m. during our 11 o'clock worship hour, we will take these votes. We encourage you to be there. We encourage you to plan on being here at 11 o'clock on October 2nd. And we just are asking and begging that you would pray for God's wisdom and direction in the next 2 weeks so that we can continue to faithfully seek His will for Community Evangelical Church. Thank you for your time. God bless you.